Well, hello, folks. Hello, here we are. Back for more of Let's Animate. So we're working on Lenny still here, and let's bring our window down so that you all can see better the entire frame. So we've got Lenny, and he's coming into frame and settling. That's working pretty good. I think maybe our last pose here as he comes into frame here. I think as he comes, yeah, I've got this stretched. Yeah, this is pretty good. He comes back fast in there. I think what I'm going to do here is, let's see. I think I'm going to add one more frame here. Yeah, I think I'm going to add a frame. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a frame in between here, here, and here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a frame after here. Boom. And you can see that we've got our previous frame, which is dark, and then the green frame, which is where we're going. So what I want to do here is, for the frame that we're about to get into here, I think, okay, well, I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw the hand. I'm going to draw this hand with the thumb coming through here really fast. Okay. So that's going to be right in the middle here. Right in the middle. Let's see, his shoulder is right there. Okay. And I'll come in here and erase out the rough parts. Okay. And his body is kind of in the middle here, like that. Okay, so I think what I'll do is I'll have the body, the head start up. So I think what I'll do here is I'll go to the previous drawing here. And I'm going to take some of this drawing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab as much of it as I can where it doesn't overlap. Okay, so I'm going to copy that, then go to the next frame and paste it. Then I'm going to move my pivot so that I can move this head back a bit. So the idea is I want to start to approximate an in-between here where this head is coming up. Okay. So you can see where I placed it there. I'll erase all of the points where the drawing of the head will intersect with the part of the drawing that I've already done. So you can see this is a way where you can use a drawing that you've made already as an in-between without having to actually sketch it. But it would be more accurate because you're copying a drawing that you've already done. Because you're not going to, in this case, it's not going to be easy to pull out the entire drawing because there are things that are overlapping. The hand is going to be in front of the face, and there's a lot of little things. So you can't just, just copy the head and put it right. It's not quite as black and white as that. But you see how I did that. Okay. Let's flip that and see how that looks. Yeah, that's good. See, it kind of gives it, yeah. See, this smooths that out a little bit. Now, as we get, so we're going there to there to there to there. Now, I'd say maybe I could, settle in. I was right. I went past the drawing and back to it, so I could have a drawing from here to here. Yeah. So that's good. So yeah, drawing from there to there. So I'd say let's add a frame here after. And let's see. Well, we could trace this arm here. Well, or we don't have to trace it. Yeah, actually just let's just erase that. Yeah, what we can do here. Okay, so we could copy the previous hand here. So we can copy that, go to the new frame, paste it, and then we can move it so that it's going to be in between here. We need to tilt it a bit because it's got to come up over in an arc. All right, let's go in here and erase out any connecting lines or lines that don't belong in here. Okay, and tip that arm back so we just in between this. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, so that shoulder's back there. Okay. So that shoulder's there, that shoulder's there. So the middle shoulder's got to be in here. Yeah, sometimes the only way you can see where the position of an in-between would have to be is you have to kind of flip the drawings one at a time and look and see, like, okay, where does that in-between actually fit? Because it might not be obvious to the naked eye just looking at it. Might not be real obvious. Now here, the heads, this is going to be pretty easy because all you're going to have to do here is grab a head. So we can grab the latter one here because you're getting the full head clear. So copy that. I'm going to go backwards to the space and paste it. Then we're going to move it so that it's in between. We need to tilt it a little bit because it's coming up into that position. Yeah. Okay, then take our eraser and clear out any area where something is overlapping where it shouldn't. Okay, there's the collar. There's the arm. Let's see, I believe we might be missing. No, that's okay. Looks like that's all right. Okay, let's play it. Oh, yeah. And he kind of, he pops into that position, but he also, I remember now that I had the thumb going past the position that it stops at as an accent. So it goes out to there, but then see it comes back. Yeah, how far out does it? Okay. So it goes out to there and then back. Well, I could add an extra drawing just to settle it back. So let's see. Let's see. So what do I want to do here? Well, let's see. I know I'm going to add okay, so I'm going to add a frame between here and here. So let's see. We'll go add a frame after. So go to the end. We'll grab this hand and we'll copy that. Go backwards one frame, paste it, and then we'll place that, make sure that's in the middle. We might have to tilt it a little bit. Make sure it's in the right spot. Yeah. Yeah. When things start getting like really close, that's when the spacing of your in-betweens it becomes very crucial where a drawing is and exactly where your in-between is. That's when you're going to notice it if it's in the wrong spot. Yeah, it's those real fine in-betweens that can mess you up. Let's see, so on the head, we'll grab the head and neck, copy that, go back one frame, paste it, and move it so that it's right in the middle. You know, this is one of those fine frames. I think we got it in the right spot. Okay, there we go. Yeah, when it starts getting to a point where you're getting really fine, close in betweens, uh, that's when you have to be real careful because then it starts to, you can see it too easily. You can see an error. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, yeah, that's got a nice flow to it. Boom. Yeah. And I think that's the right amount of hold on the last drawing too. Yeah, because I think I held it like 18 frames. Let me see if that's what it was. Yeah, I held it 18 frames. Okay. So the next thing is going to be color on this layer. So I guess I could start coloring it. Let's see. Yeah, that feels pretty good. Okay. I think we got what we need. So let's see. So then we'll add a layer. Add an empty layer. The empty layers generally go on the top. They tend to go on the top. And we're going to diminish the layer right below it. And so we're going to start adding frames here in the top layer. Now with the top layer, like I said, if you want to be able to make sure you can discern what you're looking at, a lot of times I'll just give it something, an identification. In this case, I'll say color. So I know that this layer on top is color. The one right below it, layer 1, I'm bringing the opacity down. I brought it down to 26%. So I'm going to add a frame after. Okay. So if you look in the timeline, if you see what I'm doing here, I'm adding frames after on the top layer. This is where I will clean up and paint. So, yeah. So I'm going add drawing, add after, and I'm doing this for each frame. Okay. Add drawing, add after. But this is on a layer on the top. And if you're looking in the timeline as you see me doing this, you'll see that with each frame, I'm adding a blank, clear layer over the existing rough animation, which has been brought down to 26% opacity. That's so that I can see that line when I clean up over it, and I'll be able to see what I've drawn, trace over it, and then, paint it. Okay, now this last frame, I need to make that 18 frames, so I'm just going to keep adding frames to that until it's the same length as, okay. So that's what we've got. So we've got our character all done. I think I may go back up. Let's see. I'll go back to fit the window, which will bring this back up to a large size. Okay, and let's see. So I need to take a look and see where are we at. 14, 15 minutes. what my colors are. Well, I think what I'll do is on this, I think I will just start in the color tomorrow. Let's see here. Um, bring this down again. Let's look at it. Okay. All right. Move this up to the corner here. And we'll play it. Yeah. Yeah, we'll stop here. We can get into color tomorrow. So, yeah, so tomorrow we'll start in the color, and I'll, look to see what line quality I've got on Lenny and what his colors are, so that I can start coloring him. All right, folks, have a good evening. Hope you had a great day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget to thank God for your talents and gifts. And once again, don't forget that Jesus is Lord.